What up, y'all? How y'all doing? You in tune with your boy DJ Reality and your boy Ed for the Reality or Not podcast. Ed, how you doing today?
I'm okay, Sean. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
Oh,
How's
that's
your Thank you. How's your Sunday?
what's cool, man. Waiting for this Bills Lions game. Um,
Okay, no doubt. What time the game come on? Is it a 4 or 7?
4:25.
Oh,
Would be
okay.
nice to get a nap in, but that won't happen. I'll probably get the nap in during the game.
I'm sorry, man. I'm cock blocking on a nap with the podcast, but at
Nah,
least we get to
good,
record.
man.
We good?
I do other stuff anyway. I'm supposed to be wrapping gifts. That probably won't happen though. Till
Yeah, I gotta figure that shit out. I still got gifts to buy. So
yeah, I got a handful. I'm about done.
all right.
Yeah, about done.
Cool, cool. Well, let's jump into it. One of the things I want to talk about, we had mentioned before, and it was like a little group chat that was going around, or just a conversation that was happening around, the Nas and Jay Z beef. And the only reason I'm bringing it up is because, the whole Drake and Kendrick beef has kind of had people revisiting different beefs that's going on. So I kind of wanted to revisit this one because I still don't feel like you know. This person won or this person won. I actually had my preference at the time, and it's still there only because of what was said and how it was made within the song versus just potential, I guess, shit talking, whatever. So we could jump right into it. Jay Z, Nas, what's your take on the beef? Ed?
Well, my take is I think Jay won. I think Takeover was Takeover was Takeover. It was one verse. I think he put a lot of facts at Nas. I think Nas came with Ether. I don't think Ether wasn't a bad song. I think we talked about it. I think in some ways I think the fans overhype it and make it overrated. Like one of the articles you shared with me before, in preparation for this, they said that Nas obliterated Jay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about obliterate. I mean, so then what did Jay do on Takeover? I think Takeover was the better song. I'm not saying Ether wasn't bad. I think Nas has some bars in there and everything, but I think like your Nas fans or even fans that just hate Jay
Mm-hmm.
just act like Ether was just one of the greatest diss songs ever. I don't know if it's even in my top five. I think the other thing, I think people look at Super Ugly. They say Jay was out of character. He kind of went off the rails a little bit, talking about the baby moms and all that, and condoms in the baby seat. Um,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. But then, I think people forget about that title track from Blueprint 2. To me,
Mm-hmm.
like, Blueprint 2 was, that was hard too. Like, I think people sleep on Blueprint 2, which to me is probably one of the last, like, songs in the battle that was dedicated. There were little jabs thrown here and there.
Yeah, you missed
Probably,
the Uchiwali Yoji one mic. TDJ, like it has some, and this is the one thing a lot
was it one
a lot of
is
people. You
also
say what?
Shorty. He was like, "Is it Uchi Wally Wally? Is it Uchi Wally Wally or Shorty? Oh, you
Oh, shorty, oh you for ice.
he's like, is it black girl lost or shorty owe you for ice? I've been real all my life. They confuse me with conceit. Like you said,
Mm-hmm.
like he just opened it up, like her brought the flutes in.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, I still rap that song hard as hell when it come
No,
on.
the song is dope, man, and I think it's okay. The one thing that was dope about the beef, if anything, it revitalized Nas' career. I
Yeah,
mean, Nas' career was, you know, it
nobody
wasn't
about it.
flourishing at the time. It was at its lowest. With, I mean, he was starting, the trend back up when he dropped the Stillmatic freestyle, when he dropped everything. But it was kind of like you look at Nostradamus. Nobody wasn't really paying attention to Nas, and it was almost giving excuses like, well, he had to do this for whatever reason. And this always put it to like a certain artist that could do certain things, and I think Nas within his career kind of figured it out once he got to, I want to say Def Jam, but once he got to the Hip Hop Is Dead, okay, this is kind of like the career that I want to have versus like I don't know. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they're not bad albums, but I really didn't like Street Disciple or Godson. Like I think they had good songs on them, but I'm not going to put classic on everything. I mean, we had this conversation about Stillmatic. I mean, starting out from the beginning, them first 7, 8 songs was just heaters. It was just like good ass songs. But then you had the last 4 or 5 that were, in my opinion, just weren't that strong. And I do feel like when they gave Jay the 5 mic for Blueprint, it was almost required for them to give 5 mics for Stillmatic, even though it wasn't a 5 mic album. So, but yeah, and I was thinking back to it and like what triggered the beef you had. And they said like Myth Bleak said he wasn't really coming at Nas. I think it was song. Is it What You Think of That? I can't. Got the gun to the side of your, huh?
Got my mind right.
Got my mind right. Yeah. And he thought that was towards him, and that kind of triggered the beef. And then you had after that, you had the Stillmatic track that I think it was like maybe 2 or 3 bars, maybe 4, that was kind of going at the Rockefeller crew, and then the rest was at Jay, which like I like that one more than I like Ether.
Okay.
And it's just things about Ether that I really didn't like, and part of it was it was the beat. I just didn't really like the beat. Thought the beat was kind of man, but then I thought that just shit talking, as we said before, like I'm not like you can talk shit about somebody all day, but when you say stuff like I'm trying to think of lines from Takeover. Um, shoot, trying to
I
think of
think I think like I'll take over. Like I think like there was a meme that was out a few years ago where it said like takeover was facts and ether was just insults or and so I think like you look at takeover like for instance like when Jake goes into the album he's like you dropped 4 albums, 2 of them shits was due, one was I, the other was Illmatic.
hmm
Like nah, we talk about it was written. I think it was written was much better than yeah.
hmm
But for the sake of what Jay was doing to say you had did one hot album every 10 years, it was especially on the last 2. Like we kind of felt that way about I Am and Nostradamus. Like them, this one great,
yeah,
and so I think in some ways there's kind of facts steeped in like what like it was insults, but it was a
mm
little truth behind them. Like when he talked about how like he paid Searchlight Publishing, used Nas's
mhm,
voice on Dead Presidents. And then I think when you look at Ether, Ether was like then it was talking about you look like a camel. It was like
mhm,
you 36 and you doing Tybo.
mhm.
Like he said,
Dick sucking lips,
yeah,
Cockefeller.
he called him misogynistic, which was crazy because hip hop is just misogynistic. Like Nas, hey, you did you owe me.
Mhm.
You were misogynistic as well. Like, but like I think within Ether though, like I think one of my favorite bars off there was at the end where he was like, "Queens niggas run y'all, just ask Russell."
Mhm.
So that's like rooted in some facts or whatever. Um, there were a couple, but he didn't like couple. I think where his insults were rooted in facts, but a lot of it was just like the uh, playing the dozens almost. Like he's playing the dozens.
You Dame Diddy, you Dame Dummy. Like it was just shit
Yeah,
talking.
yeah. And then so it's like I think there was a line where he was like so he's like Rockefeller died of AIDS, and that's who y'all chose to name y'all label after. Like that's one of them facts. I like, okay, that's a fact. I don't know what Rockefeller died of. I'm gonna assume Nas was correct in that, but
Who cares? It's like who cares? Like who gives a shit?
it, but
Like
it,
Rockefellers are rich ass niggas from the was the early 20s and
yeah,
whatever timeline I wasn't even alive and shit. So
yeah. So it's like for me, I think whereas takeover was just one verse. But if you just you run takeover down, like he's like your man's verse on Uchi Wally was better than yours.
mhm.
Horse did open up with a nice verse on Uchi Wally.
That's the
Um,
one that most niggas remember from the Uchi Wally song. Honestly,
yeah.
um,
So it's like I think like I think and I think we might have mentioned this like in our personal conversations, like with Jay. Man, Jay at the time was like probably like you could say the king of New York running hip hop. So it was just like some people just didn't like Jay, and
Yeah,
so then have Nas come along, and Nas is always like there's always hip hop has kind of pitted people against each other. You had Pac and Big, you had Nas and Jay, and people almost felt like you had to choose one, but you really didn't. But people
yeah,
made
it's
it
stupid. It's
had
stupid.
to.
Like that whole New York shit of choosing crews or choosing who you fuck with. Like that's, in my opinion, that made New York be the not at the forefront of music anymore. You know
Right,
what I'm saying? Like if you look at it, like this goes to like where I was talking about with Cruz, like how Cruz essentially. I mean, you had Rockefeller, you had um, Rough Riders, you
right,
had, and then even moving forward, you had Dipset, you had State Property, you had all these different crews, and then some of them were going at each other, and then you had the South just doing their thing, just like fuck y'all niggas, like we dope. You know what I'm saying? We just gonna make music, and while y'all up here arguing and shit and battling, we out here just making good music and easier music to consume.
and all that.
Mm-hmm. No, because I used to listen. I'll listen to music. I listen to music now differently than I listened to music then, and I think I still had an open ear for the music, but it comes a point in time where like I'm not trying to learn from music. You know what I'm saying? Like where niggas is just like over talking and this is like too many metaphors and similes and shit like that. It's almost very similar to what um what Dre said on what's the I think it's like number 14 and number 15 on the ATLians album where he was saying, we grew up off that booty shake and all that stuff. And he was like, well, this is what we know. This is the South. This is what y'all go get. Versus like, oh well, it has to be formed like this to be considered a great artist. It's
Yeah,
like, like you can make great music. And say I could listen to UGK just like I listen to, I don't know, Jay, or if I listen to Nas, I listen to Snoop, or I just like music for what it is. I'm not going to separate it based off of, and this is why I mentioned too that I listen to Snoop's Doggy Style just as much as I listen to Enter the Wu Tang. You know what I'm
right.
saying? Because they came out around the same time. You know what I'm saying? So it was just good music at the time. And even though it was, left music from the left and music from the right, it still was good music. Like, these niggas over here chopping swords and sampling karate sounds, and then you got uh this side over here that's sampling Parliament and then just making it dope and just laying that foundation for Snoop to have a career from Dre. Like I never separated to say, well, these are lyrics and these aren't lyrics. So
Yeah, no, yeah. If it was dope music, it was dope music. Now, there's been times throughout my life, like I said, when I was younger, like I think high school, probably like eighth, ninth grade, up to like probably like 11th grade, I was probably more leaning towards West Coast. Like I was a big Pac fan. Then you had Death Row, so I was everything Death Row. I remember the College Boys. College Boys was my favorite group in like ninth grade for like two
for real.
months. Like, yeah,
Yeah, you had the College Boys tape, man.
I did. I did. I did. Somebody, yeah, I had the College Boys tape. Like, yeah, but nah, but even with that though, I would listen to some Tribe Called Quest. I would listen,
Hmm.
like, KRS was doing this thing at the time. Like, but then you get to like Enter the Wu Tang, you get the Biggie's Ready to Die, you get the Illmatic. Like, probably from like junior, senior year of high school to college, then I started leaning more heavily into the East Coast.
Hmm.
Still like I still rock with Scarface, still rock with Outkast, of course. With Mess with Ball and MJG. Um, Still listen, people on the West Coast like Snoop, after Dogfather, kind of had to put him
Yeah,
down.
no, that shit was terrible. I think sometimes it's just the agenda that was pushed on us as far as the music that we consume, right?
Yeah,
So you'll have like, don't get me wrong, we always had our favorites, but you watch a Rap City, or even a Yo MTV Raps is New York based.
yeah,
So you're only going to see the New York artists highlighted from time to time. I mean, you'll see, I mean, not you'll see them highlighted more than you would see the Southern artists. Like I still remember the Outkast interview when they first popped out. and they interviewed him at the dungeon in Rico Wade's house. Like these niggas just like coming out the house, and they was talking about they was crawling through areas to record music and stuff like that. And they just came. I was like, that was from the ground up type of shit. And this was before Southern Playalistic even dropped. And it's just like what we're exposed to, and then the whole mic rating. Like I remember Big Boy on it was on the ATLians album too, where he was talking about like that might have been on the Aquemini, where he was talking about we go come back and get our other half a mic back, or whatever, for the rating that they gave him. Whatever. I think Aquemini got 4.5, right?
Was it? I think was it Quimini? What did Southern Playalistic get?
Southern
I think
Playalistic,
I did get 4.5.
Southern Playalistic got at least 4. I want to say because Aquemini, I don't remember them getting 5.
No, I don't.
Yeah, because I think they said they was. It might. I can't remember which one, but they said they was gonna come back and get his other half a mic back or whatever.
Yeah. Southern Playalistic got 4.5.
Okay.
So
Yeah, because I think they said it on ATLians. I think.
yeah, or did they say it on Quimini?
He might have said it on Aquemini. I felt like it was AT. I know he's no. It was on the Fast song. I want to say it was on that. It was on that song where they were. Oh, that might have been.
About Aquemini did get 5 mics though. I just looked it up.
Okay, so that one did get 5. So yeah, I think it was the
I can't remember if it was ATLians or Aquemini though, where he's like, we're coming back for the half mic.
Yeah, because they was on smoke. And then even when the whole Source Awards and the South got something to say type of stuff, it was like that really. I didn't realize how much of an impact that had on the South in general. Like that, I mean, when I saw it, because like I told you, Outkast is my favorite group of all time. Period. Like bar none, like duo group. Period. Like that's literally my favorite group. And it wasn't. People looked at them like, well, no, y'all need to blah blah blah. Like, no, they have a reason to fight. Like, hey, we got something to say. This is we making great music. Listen to us. Like, and then niggas today still say, Big Dre is one of the best lyricists ever, but niggas weren't saying that shit back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Niggas just looked at him like, shit. I mean, they some Southern rappers. Yeah, so because you was only giving like niggas was only giving Outkast, a little bit of UGK, 8 Ball and MJG. Like them the only niggas that was really I remember getting some shine from the South.
Scarface got it too, mama.
Yeah, Scarface got love.
Yeah,
But from a group perspective, it was just like
yeah, you're right from the group perspective. Oh yeah,
so.
I'm trying to think about another group, but no.
Like, yeah, I used to hate it when they would make them niggas like, and that shit bothers me too. When like a nigga, they'll tell a nigga can you freestyle on the spot type of stuff. It's almost like challenging niggas that ain't with that. Like I would have loved a nigga asking Pimp C to freestyle. Like that nigga response would have been hilarious. Cause that nigga just don't. That nigga's a stubborn ass nigga.
40 said, "I don't freestyle, I pay style." Was that? Yeah, was that?
Yeah, I think that was 40.
That was people like Nas. Like I remember Nas got up on man, them New York rappers in all freestyle. Like what Nas? I think it was on Your TV Raps. He was like whatever verse he spit, it was like from Crab niggas.
Yeah. Every nigga freestyle quote unquote verse I've heard from a New York East Coast rapper was from a song.
Yeah.
From a whole different song. I remember Funkmaster Flex dropped that, was it 60 minutes of something.
Yeah.
But all that shit was from other songs, whatever.
Yeah. Even KRS, he was like, a freestyle is a rhyme that nobody has ever heard.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was saying, it could be written, but if you had never heard it, then it was a freestyle. So like even KRS was like redefining like what a freestyle was. But like I don't really believe like I don't think there's a lot of them that like older now being older. I don't think there's a lot of them that can really truly come off the top of their head. Like I think some might come around that like maybe they've been working on, but they've been working on it and they maybe incorporate some off the top of the head rhymes within it. But like it's probably a structure where they start off rhyming with something that like kind of what KRS said, like maybe it's not a song that we've heard, but maybe it's something that they've been working on, they've been writing.
They made Outkast freestyle on the Rap City. that shit was a freestyle.
They did.
No, I'm saying like when we
Right.
was when we was thinking about freestyles, we was like that shit was off at the top of the dome. We go say
Yeah.
something now. Like I said, we don't look for it to be dope, but then it's like a certain level of like it's different levels to the freestyle. What I've noticed, like you
Yeah.
have a nigga like Supernatural that say, "Hey, I only freestyle," and I remember that nigga had a whole ass album of rhymes that he didn't write, and that
Yeah.
shit sounded terrible. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I don't want to hear a nigga like I want to hear you prepare. Like I blame Jay-Z on this one. You know that whole one take Jay and shit
You
like
know?
that. I'm like, nah, nigga. Some of y'all niggas need to write y'all shit. Like,
Yeah.
y'all don't all need to be doing it in one take. Y'all need to double down. Y'all need to do ad libs. Y'all need to make it where it makes sense because I
It's
think that's where the quality of lyrics start to go down.
it's okay to have a notebook. It's,
Mhm. Yeah, it's crazy that some people are talented to do it, others aren't, But I think Jay put a lot of pride in other people to try that method, and it wasn't all popping for all. So
definitely.
yeah. So, but I'm gonna take this time. Oh no, you know what? Forget that. Before we jump to that, let me ask you this question: if you had a list, or if you could think of a list, what would be your top 5 disc records?
I go probably No Vaseline will be in there. The Bitch and You by Common. I'm thinking Back to Back by Drake. I
Mm-hmm.
put that in there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm gonna put Takeover in there,
Mm-hmm.
and probably I'm trying to think. I mean, that like I'm not. I don't put hit them up on a pedestal that everybody else does, so I want to put that in there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking it was Dre Day. Um,
Real motherfucking G's.
yeah, that's why I was like, you got Dre Day, but then you turn around, you got Real Motherfucking G's,
Mm-hmm.
um, which was hard.
Honestly, I thought Real motherfucking G's was a not
Like,
that it was a better song, but it hit differently.
yeah, they're easy. And almost, we're gonna probably go off a little bit topic again. Like almost like Dre Day might be similar to Ether, and Real Motherfucking Jesus probably similar to Takeover. Where like I think that Easy had in that bar like the same record you making is paying me or something like that. Where someone
Yeah.
was keeping facts and like,
Motherfuck you, motherfuck Dre, motherfuck Death Row, and here comes the death blow. I was like, damn,
whereas
it was very like I said, because you wouldn't expect Easy to be able to bounce back from that, right? Like, I mean, or to be able to bounce back from all of the disses. Because honestly, if you go back and listen to the Chronic, that was it was a lot of beef records in there that was going at Easy E. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? I was thinking, I was like, damn, I was like, this even a record that as a family member of Easy E that you can listen to? It's just like listening to Get Rich or Die Trying. I can't ever see Ja Rule just like, all right, the beef is over. Let me pop that in. It's like, cause you got songs like Back Down where you had
also
like the
another one that could be in that top five.
yeah, you
Possibly.
got
Yeah,
you got your boy in there talking about Jeffrey Atkins. I'm like, it was some wild stuff going on that song, man. And that's one of them hard. Then you got You Not Like Me, shit, Wankster.
yep,
That's a hard record to digest within the beef, and that's a record that's highly regarded as one of the better records in rap history.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so
What's
if
your
I had
top?
if I had to do my top 5, that one's hard because one that I always feel like gets overlooked, and it's just a dope ass song to me because he went in real hard. Pause was Second Round Knockout.
Damn. Yeah, that would have been in my file. Damn.
Dude, second round knockout.
Yeah.
If if Cannabis had did what 50 was able to do with a good album or a great album, his career would be totally Cannabis in 97, 96, 97. I don't see not one rapper, whether famous, not famous, messing with like Cannabis was that dude. Every time he jumped on the track, whether it was Beast from the East, whether it's what's the joint he had with Common? Can't
I
think of the
know
name.
because it's off of, One Day All Makes Sense.
Yeah, like, and it almost made me. Common's my favorite rapper, and I'm like, damn, like, not that I was all into the he ate you up on your own shit, but at the same time, it was just like different levels
Yeah,
to
Canada.
rap that Cannabis had going on than Common. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I was just like, man, this dude is like fucking dope. And even the what's the shit? I said Beast from the East.
That was that joint off the crew tape.
Yeah, the four horsemen, I think.
Yeah. No, it was I think that was one, but there was another one with Nori.
I thought that was the
Man,
Four Horsemen with Nori, Corrupt.
nah, that one was another one, but it was off of the first crew tape.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, man, because I'm gonna put it on the playlist.
Oh, that's a. So we had talked about doing a pause line of the week. Speaking of,
Fantastic Four.
yeah, Fantastic Four, we had talked about doing a pause line of the week.
Yeah.
And since we brought this since we brought this record up as far as second round knockout, you ain't got the skills to eat a nigga's ass like me. It's
Yeah.
like yeah, nigga. That I was like, I mean, but you know, back in the day, I mean, we knew what he was talking about, but you know, I
Dre,
mean,
what
in
Dre Day?
hindsight,
Dre Day had one too. What
oh,
was
Dre Day was hella pause.
like
Dre Day,
he was like that cat.
with my nuts on your sack, nigga, while
Yeah,
you on stage rapping at your whack ass concert. I'm gonna smack your ass from the backside, show how Snoop and Dre pull off that who ride. And you might not understand this, because I'm gonna rob you of Compton and blast you in Miami. like, what?
he's like
Oh,
that shit.
what's your with my sack on your time? So yeah, that was the first line I said. The Snoop shit.
But he said that shit to Luke said was something about the gap tooth, so my dick gotta fit.
Yeah. Oh no. Got teeth in your mouth, so my dick's
Oh,
gotta fit.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, nigga, it was some hella pause ass lines on there. Like,
But
oh shit.
cannabis was that clue tape era. Like, man, cannabis usually like had like had the last slot. I
Mhm.
like went in like because like you said, it was the Beast from the East. He was last. This Fantastic Four. He was last. Like
Mhm.
no, like him and Common went back and forth on the bars. Like
Mhm.
cannabis was man. One day I'm sure we'll talk about the most disappointing albums.
Yeah, that look,
Yeah.
cannabis, and you know, it's always weird. Like we was talking beef, right? So like even the LL cannabis beef, because you know the what's the song that he had with Ja Rule, we all belong or where we all belong or something like that.
That song was hard.
That song was dope. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? But that shit was like damn near 2 years after the beef.
Right.
I want to say
And
that was like 99 to 2000, somewhere around there.
yeah, yep, 99, 2000.
Yeah, but
Yeah, dropped that whack ass response on I can't ill bomb. Was it ill bomb?
yeah,
When
Ilbon.
they were
Yep.
doing the survival of the fittest and they were giving the yeah, and they were doing
Mhm.
the bonus this. I forgot what album it came with, but I was like, man, I forgot what album it came with, but I was like, man, I don't care about the bonus disc because that song is whack as hell.
Yeah, them niggas is giving mad promo shit.
Yeah,
At one point in time, the survivor it was Survivor of the Fittest tour, right? At that
yep.
time, yeah, it was just a lot of.
The bonus
Mhm.
disc for him. They gave one with the Def Squad album. It was like 3 or 4 Def Jam releases that they dropped the bonus disc. And I feel like the L Bomb might have came with the DMX.
Mhm.
I wasn't feeling DMX at the time to buy the album. So I was like, I ain't buying it for the LL diss track. Yeah,
Speaking of DMX, we had talked about this a little bit last time too, or we didn't really jump into it, but overrated albums. Uh, and this don't necessarily have to be the subject, right? We could jump into something else, but I always felt, sometimes we give props, like we'll give props to artists for one thing, and then we won't give it to other artists for other things, right? So, as an example, right, we'll say DMX, only artist to ever drop 2 albums in 1 year to go platinum. But then we'll say, you know, Jay Z, um, record sales don't matter.
yeah,
But then you'll say DMX is better because he did this amount of sales versus like, well, Jay Z eclipsed that, but he should because he's more famous than DMX. And I'm not saying one is better than the other. I can tell you I have my preference towards who I lean towards as far as artists. But at the same time, I think, and it's just a double standard of music at times. I feel like everything Jay, because I feel like it was a formula at one point in time for New York artists,
right.
and I felt like I'll give this credit to Nas. I feel like Nas started a formula and within this formula was to use different producers for albums. Because back then, it used to be the formula of everybody had the same producer throughout the album.
Yeah,
And you got Illmatic, which you got LES, you got
yeah.
Primo, you got Pete Rock.
Large Professor,
Um, you say who?
Large Professor,
Large Professor,
Q-Tip.
and Q-Tip. You know what I'm saying? So, it gave a diverse collection of music and production where Nas excelled over all their beats. Even though I didn't, like I told you, I still don't care for halftime. Halftime is just not a song I care for. I really don't care for One Time for Your Mind. And that's shit. 2 out of 9 of the songs on the album. You know what I'm saying? Because it was 9, and then what, the intro, right? I'm never want to. I don't want to be that dude that down talk somebody just because everybody bigs them up. But sometimes that could be exhausting when everybody says Illmatic is classic, and then the classic is tagged to the source rating. You know what I'm saying? Because what I saw within the source, I saw bias all the way through.
Yeah,
And within that bias, I was buying or consuming music based, like, if I saw an album get 3.5 in the source, I was go check it out.
right.
If I saw I was gonna get 4, I was buying it.
Yeah,
Like, no matter, like, it was just like it was literally the Bible at the time.
right.
But then when you had all of that stuff with Benzino and the RSO and all that stuff go down, and you started to see. And don't get me wrong, I mean, I fuck with P or Master P, pause, and just Southern artists in general. But you started to see who was putting money into advertising for the artist versus, like, what was appearing in the mag. And when you had that whole, what was that takeover when everybody left in the source? Can't remember when that was. That was in the mid to late '90s, right? When they all left, when they kept giving the Almighty RSO the higher rankings and stuff.
Yeah. You don't think Almighty RSO had a 4 mic album?
So I want to say they gave them a 4.5 when I remember.
He had a 4.5 mic album?
I I listened.
Anything was 4.5? I thought it was 5.
Oh, work. See, I mean,
No,
if look, everybody has have an opinion. I can't knock you on yours.
these
You
are
know,
wrong.
like, but I remember trying to listen to that shit. I remember, and this is like way past that, but I remember when Lil Kim got a 5 mic, and this had to been like 2002, 2003, somewhere around there, maybe even later than that. And this is when I officially stopped buying the Source magazine. I was buying the Source magazine all the way back from like 94 to like 2000. Whenever that Lil Kim album came out, that's when I officially gave up on the source. I was already buying Double XL, who I fucked with
Right.
because I love Elliot Wilson's editorials. But you put me onto that, which was dope. But all that being said, all that shit with just albums just getting crazy rankings was just throwing me off. I'm like, why? Like, I gave Lil Kim a chance just because I'm thinking even if they're nothing. What Benzino might have been fucking Lil Kim.
Solid. You was like, if they gave it a five mic, you got to at least probably be a 3.5 or a 4 mic album.
That's how I thought of it. You know, I was like, well, I'll take the chance. Like maybe their rankings is like fucked up, but
Yeah.
like you said, I mean, it's gonna be around a 4. It don't necessarily have to be, you know, a classic album. And I was like, an album doesn't have to be front to back.
No.
You know, classic, quote unquote. Like one of my favorite albums, and I think it got maybe about 2 or 3 missteps on it was Helter Skelter Nocturnal. Like nigga, that's one of my favorite albums, whatever. But you know, it's like 2 or 3 songs that I skip on there that I just don't fuck with. But the rest of that shit hit.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, so I said cannabis, um, bitching you definitely. Um, mm, so that's 2. I would say takeover. I'm not putting ether in it, but I put ether around like 6 or 7. I don't think ether. I think, as I was mentioning before, ether had its impact. You know what I'm saying? Like no matter how you swing it, like it's a term. You know what I'm saying? And like it's just a dope ass name for like nigga, you got ether. Like it's just a dope ass name. Like um, but I'm not putting it in my top 5. I would definitely no Vaseline. Because it was just, you know, and NWA is my favorite all around group. You know what I'm saying? Like I would put them second behind, you know, Outkast in general, but like multiple member groups. Then I'll put Wu Tang after that. But but listening to and and my cousin Brian put me on to NWA, and you know we would watch Rap City, you know, as we was younger and stuff like that.
Right.
And but he was really he was into him, and then when I listened to him, I really took in. I'm like, damn, these are like it was. I don't think that they get enough credit that they deserve because I feel like they impacted music to have people. It was like them. It's like Luke. It's like Too Short that said, "Fuck it, shit. We gonna talk about the shit that we see." You know what I'm saying? Or even if it like it didn't necessarily, you know, have to be. Nigga, I was used to fairy tales and shit like that was happening within music, and these niggas come up talking about, you know, here's a little something about a nigga like me. Never should have been let out the penitentiary. Ice Cube would like to say that I'm a crazy motherfucker from around the way. Since I was a youth, I smoked weed out. Now I'm the motherfucker that you read about taking a life or two. That's what the hell I do. You don't like how I'm living? Well, fuck you. This is a game. You know, it was like it was an energy behind it that, you know,
NWA brought gangster rap to the masses. Like I know people talk about like Schoolie D was doing it, Ice T was doing it, which they were, but like NWA, like as far as like bringing it to like the national, like the mainstream, that like
Mhm.
NWA like has to probably be considered one of the most influential groups of all time in hip hop, if not the most influential, because man, you they like nobody was like rhyming like that, like the profanity, the like you said, it's kind of like fairy tale rhymes. It was like people kind of talking about how like maybe they were the best MC and all of that, like that. Like Run DMC might tell you about their Adidas or something like that, but NWA was telling you about Compton and
Mhm.
like gang life and all of that over there. And like you, man, if you can say like there's so many things we wouldn't see in hip hop if it wasn't for NWA. Like maybe somebody else might have came along and done it, but give credit to the ones who did it. You got Cube, you got Dre, Easy. when you got Ren and Yella in there, like DOC came. You just look at the branch. DOC came off of that branch. Death Row came off that branch with Snoop, Dog Pound. Um,
Eminem.
yeah, Eminem, 50 Cent.
Mm-hmm.
Like, does 50 Cent blow like he does? Like,
Anderson Pack. You know,
yeah, Tupac.
Kendrick.
Yeah, Kendrick. Do you get Tupac before Tupac got the association with Death Row? I mean, he was my favorite rapper, but like, I mean, you had like Me Against the World, strictly for my niggas Tupac now. Like, they weren't like when you talk about Pac albums, it's usually Me Against the World and not Me Against the World gets brought up, but All Eyes on Me and the Machiavelli album are the ones that get a lot of credit. Like a lot of people remember Pac more for the, well, I'll say casual Pac fans remember him more from the
Death Row era.
Death Row, which is what, like,
Which is crazy to me, bro.
that's,
Like it's crazy. Like, and my bad friend, brother. It's just crazy for me just to think, like, for Tupac, he's mainly associated to Death Row, and he wasn't on Death Row no more than 10 months.
right.
I mean, he got out in November. I felt like the nigga went straight to the studio or something.
Yeah,
Like, cause I don't know how you can swing that shit, but then this is like niggas, and I'm talking about two things in the scenario: his work ethic and his lyrics, because I feel like people acknowledge him for his work ethic, but they
right.
don't acknowledge him for his lyrics. And they'll, and this is what I mentioned before, like the metaphors and similes on who's a better artist, and you have to rap this way in order to be a dope MC. It's like, nah, nigga, like I don't want to hear overcomplicated rap schemes to be able to be convinced that it's dope music. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? I ain't got to necessarily shake my ass to it all the time either. But you know what I'm saying? I listen to music for the vibes and the energy. And
right.
I feel like Tupac understood how to make music all over the place. Like whether he's making a song that's sentimental or he's making a party vibe song or he's making a song that, where he's rapping with some of the best artists, whether it's Method Man, Redman, or stuff like that. It's just like people don't respect how dope Pac was. And I say this about Biggie too, but like how much he was able to accomplish within that within his lifespan. Like Pot, then he died with 25.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I think Big died at 24. It's like, and just to think that I think because Big died in May or March, and his birthday is in May. I think May 24th, somewhere around there anyway. But all the men said the stuff that they was able to accomplish at such a young age is crazy. You talking Pac with the movie, and I'm not going to equate it to just because they had or Pac was able to do so much that um what am I trying to say? I'm trying to like just because he was able to do these things doesn't mean that he wasn't great at them. A lot of people look at it as
Gotcha.
well, he was just hurrying up and doing a song. He was just hurrying up and recording the movie. It's like, no, Pac was good at those things.
Right. Yeah.
And he doesn't get acknowledged for being great. It's like, well, he was a good rapper. It's like, no, Pac was a lyricist. What it takes to be a lyricist is to make me pay attention to you. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I listen to Pac, and whenever like this is where we had talked about Hit 'Em Up. I think Hit 'Em Up is a potent, dope as this, even though I'm on you can't play both sides. But yeah, I was like, I'm a Biggie fan and I'm a Pac fan. Like the only thing that only thing I have against Hit 'Em Up is the extra niggas on the song. Like I didn't really care to hear the Outlaws.
That was me. Yeah. Like that's,
Yeah, like that.
yeah.
That's literally what takes that from not being, as impactful. But if you take if you take the Outlaws off of there, and you still have Pac with, I think Pac he did the 16. Then I want to say he did 8 after that, or maybe 4 after that. And then at the end of that song, how he, like, fuck bad boy, fuck what do you say?
Fuck Bad Boy is a staff record label.
And out of the motherfucking crew. And if you ain't down with Bad Boy, fuck you too. Chino XL, fuck you too. All you motherfuckers, fuck you too. Motherfuckers die so I make sure my fofo blow. Make sure all y'all kids don't grow. You motherfuckers can't beat us to see us. We West Side riders, West Side till we die. I told you motherfuckers, we bombing you motherfuckers. You motherfuckers think you mob, nigga. We the motherfucking mob. You know, it's just like it was an energy behind it. I'm like, even though you know I'm for big at the same time, I'm like, oh God, like this is getting scary, you know. like he's mad, you know. And then nigga, I still remember grabbing that tape from you, for you at Warehouse Records because I couldn't because they didn't have the CD Maxi single. I was like, hey, they got this Pac disc. If you want it, I mail it to you and shit. But nigga, that was some of the craziest shit, you know. And I do feel like we was talking about this the last pod, but Not Like Us reminds me of not necessarily that energy, but it's one of those like it's a song that you can't escape. It's just it's a good like besides the pedophile shit, like it's just one of them songs you listen to, you like damn. Like I mean, cause I like Drake, I like Kendrick, you know what I'm saying? But it's one of them songs you listen to, you be like, damn, like I be in the gym, it's on my workout list. You know, it's like same with shit back to back is on my workout list. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, you know, it's just some songs that it's hard to escape.
That just became bops. Like you could let them go in the club. Like you ain't really gonna let Takeover Ether go off in the club. Like not hit them up necessarily either, but like Not Like Us is like I remember that I think it was the Joe Budden podcast talking, man, we can't wait till marching band season come. And I was like, damn, you're right.
That shit, them horns. That's what on the beat, ho.
Bops. Like it's funny to me, like I think probably out of that Kendrick Drake beef, and like they dropped like 800 songs, so I don't remember all of them, but like I think the one that put like to me for Hit 'em Up was just instead of where like well I'm not saying that shit right. But that shit, yeah, like that shit was just and I think about Meet the Grams. Well Kendrick was just saying some stuff like I think Kendrick had a bar there where he was like telling his like I think what's he talking to Drake's mom and he said like you know something he said something about like no, I think he's talking about to Drake's child, talking about like, your mama had a man, whatever. The Meet the Grams were like, nigga, he was talking to like her, Drake's moms, Drake's kid.
Yeah.
Yo, Drake, like you got punch Kendrick in the mouth if you ever see him in person. It don't matter where y'all at. It don't matter if y'all at church. It don't matter if y'all at an award show. It don't matter if y'all at a Stop the Violence rally. Like, you gotta punch Kendrick in the mouth, and that Meet the Grams kind of reminds me of hit him up in that regard to how like personal it got. Like,
yeah, you need we need a fair one. We need to fight. We need to scrap.
Yeah, big and Pocket live big. Yeah, Big was gonna have to square up with Pac over hit him up. Like Prodigy was gonna have to square up with him. Like you talk about Prodigy with the sickle cell. Like Prodigy, you gonna have to hope you don't have a sickle cell like episode when you see Pac because you're gonna need to square up on Pac. Like Chino XL, just for catching the stray, you gotta square up on him. Maybe not. You just said fuck you.
Shit, look, I remember when Pac went at was Mobb Deep, and it was back in the day. I mean, it was to hit him up, but remember when Pac had died, and there was a whole beef on if they should do. You say what?
Talking about drop a gem on him?
Yeah, when they was talking about like, yeah, should they do the song? You know, and it's kind of like.
Well, no, remember they had done the song.
But people was talking about they need to take it off of the album and stuff like that.
They take it off of Hell on Earth. They didn't take it off. I didn't think they should have.
I wouldn't either, nigga. Like, nah, nigga. You talked about my health.
But
you know what I'm saying? Like,
it off. Like you think about Against All Odds, where he talked about his homeboy Stretch who got him killed. He had that line. It's like switch sides. I get your new friends wanted you dead. Like it ain't like Pac was out here respecting the dead either. Like
at all.
They're like, so I was like, now if they would have done the song after Pac had died, I'm like, you ain't have to do that. Like when it was done, because I remember like in the Vibe magazine when they when Pac died and whoever
Mhm.
wrote the editorial, I think it was Mimi Valdez at the time, but whoever wrote no, maybe Danielle Smith, when they wrote the editorial about Pac passing, it was and they put Pac on the cover, and she said something like, and it wasn't like I think because Mobb Deep had said something like Vibe magazine being on that love shit, and she was like, yeah, we were on that love shit with Pac, so like clearly they had made it before Pac died, but music doesn't get released at like the with the turnaround that it does now, so like because I remember hearing about that song over the summer,
Mhm.
and then the album didn't drop till November, but the album was getting pressed up and all of that. Like,
Yes, nigga, I heard it on the underground radio station at state at school, whatever. Like the radio station I DJ'd at from time to time, but 88.9 or whatever. I was like, what is like it was like that, like you said, it was that summer, and they was playing it, and I was like, oh shit, like
yeah,
so it was getting circulated.
I almost put Drop a Gem on them in my top five because how much of a Mobb Deep fan I am, but I'm like,
I don't know. I like drop a gem on them. I'm trying to think. So you got No Vaseline, you got second round knockout, you got I'm gonna say it for me, you got bitching you, which I thought I told you I was the biggest Cube fan, but
yeah,
I felt like Calm got out of him. I told you Calm's my favorite rapper.
yeah.
Who else? So
Takeover in there.
that's you say what?
Put Takeover in there.
Yeah, Takeover's in there. Um,
So you got one more.
oh God, let's see. I want to not put Ether in there, but Ether might be in there. I said No Vaseline. If I had to put a diss song, I'm not just gonna come up with a song to come up with it, but
Gotcha.
trying to think of all the diss records that hit. Um, I was gonna say something from Gucci and Jeezy because them niggas died over that shit. Um, hmm.
Because while I like Back Down, I don't know if Back Down is top five. It's funny, but I don't know if it's the top five.
Back Down was crazy.
Yeah,
Back Down was, woo. Back Down was like, because that was an era, bro. Like I fuck with Ja and I fuck with 50. A lot of people like Vinny Vetti Vecchi is one of my favorite albums from him. I
oh
thought it was dope. I thought it was lyrically there, and it's a whole pivot from where he ended up turning out to be.
yeah,
But it was still. I mean, I was hoping for a the Murdergram with him, Jay, and DMX. I was hoping for them to have a whole album together, the Murder Inc. project. And then I
man.
saw a video. You say what?
No, what I said about that first Ja album, man, I tell people, man, because I wasn't like after that, I just wasn't really a big fan of Ja, just because I wasn't really a big fan of the style, the singing and
Mm-hmm.
all that. Like I just wasn't a big fan of it. But I was like, man, Ja gave us the street record. He gave us the grimy record. He made me
Yep.
went gold. He started singing in the rain with Mary J. And singing with Lil Mo. He went multi platinum. I ain't mad at him. Like
Well,
you
one
do
point in time, Ja was selling more records than Jay Z.
yeah. Like I mean, look, your bank account look a lot better than mine. Like don't listen to the guy who don't make records. Like look, if you can sing in the rain with Mary J and go multi platinum versus like making a song with Memphis Bleak,
Mm-hmm.
like only go gold. Hey, leave Bleak behind. Jay got him. Like just rock with Mary. So I wasn't mad at him for it. Like I wasn't a fan necessarily of this style, but now it's fun older. Like you said, older. I go back and you listen to stuff. You like, shit. All right, I see why y'all was rocking with this back in the day. Like,
Yeah.
oh, like if I were to go to a '90s night or early 2000s night, they put on where would I be without my baby? I'm like, oh shit, they go that job.
Nigga,
Like,
all the joints with Ashanti was bops. I don't
yeah,
care like what you say, like always on time. Uh You got the song with he had the song with
What's love?
Jennifer
No,
Lopez.
yeah.
You know, I mean, he had some like you couldn't deny it,
Mm-hmm.
like how good the music was. It was just when the niggas start singing, it kind of just took me away. Like, and people will say, "Well, 50 singing too." I was like, nah. Like, I see that more so just riding the beat and rocking with the melody versus like that nigga like hitting chords and shit like that.
Yeah,
But
yeah, like really, yeah. It was a switch up of his style, but pretty much. But I mean,
no, I mean, look, hey, get the money. Like, I mean, I fucked with the songs. Whatever to be without my baby. Like they weren't like bad songs, but it was just, you know, beefing. Like, I feel like 50 changed that whole energy behind fucking with Ja. And a lot of people don't like to admit to it, but nah, 50 really, people ignoring 50 fuck niggas over as far as their careers. And 50 niggas turning their back on 50 made it crazy because now it's 50 G Unit. It's almost like the whole Detroit versus everybody. It's like G Unit versus everybody. Like, and that's kind of in. I've seen interviews with what's my man for Hot 97? I can't think of his name right now. The main he used to be the program director, but now he's a host.
talking about Ebro.
Yeah, Ebro. Yeah, and Ebro was saying how 50 ruined New York hip hop. And 50 was like, nah, like I literally came in the way I came in. I didn't come in and everybody was supporting him. Nobody was fucking with 50. Like I remember, dog, I remember all the articles. I got like Source and Double X, and that's what I give props to Double XL because they was really supporting 50 at the time, even before he had a deal. Like I remember he met with Death Row. I remember he was meeting with all these labels trying to, get the deal off. And then the connection between Eminem and Dre happened, and shit when that cover happened, oh my god, like it was a whole like I can remember in 2003 nobody not listening to 50. Like you could say whatever about 50, but niggas was fucking with 50 whether you like Ja or not. Like niggas was listening to that nigga. Oh, and it back to the original thing, right? So I was trying to think of something that instead of Ether, but I wouldn't put Hit 'em Up. I wouldn't put Ether above Hit 'em Up. So I would definitely have Hit 'em Up still in there just because of the impact
I got
of that song. I was just trying to think of a song at the time, but Hit 'em Up was one of those like I would like to say Long Kiss Goodnight, but niggas won't say that that's a diss record. That's just you know Biggie being Biggie. But I
yeah.
mean, I make your mouthpiece so beast like Della Reese. When I release, you lose teeth like little C's. Nigga, please, blood floods your dungarees. And that's just the half of my war path. Laugh now, cry later. I rhyme greater than your average player hater. The spectators buy your CD twice. They see me in the streets, they be like, yo, he nice, but that's on the low dough. These cats with no dough. Like it was like that song was, and initially it was kind of weird because I remember, the whole uh Raekwon album saying Biggie bit off about like with Ghost talking about he bit off of the CD cover and shit, and then RZA producing that shit, and then and even Method Man being on the first album. What I'm saying? It's kind of like I was trying to figure out the energy between like what was going on between Wu Tang and Biggie, but when I heard like Long Kiss Goodnight, I was and that was like number 10 on the second disc and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like it took a minute to get there because you was listening to all the other shit. And it was just like the lyrics because he did that, and this goes back to New York rappers doing freestyles that turn out the verses. But I mean, that nigga did that verse on what's the 92.3 the beat out in L.A. He did that verse with Lil C's. He did the Long Kiss Goodnight
know what you're
verse.
talking. Oh yeah,
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. But when he's doing it, like niggas getting hype, But they knew, and mind you, that was like maybe a week or two before he died. You know what I'm saying? Because he's out in LA doing the interview and shit. And we're hearing that verse. I was like, okay, this is like, okay, Cause what's the shit with Lil Kim? What would you do if your man is untrue? So do you to find another bitch? I hated that shit. That shit was terrible. Like that's what I don't get me wrong. I fuck with Puff. Pause. Um, I fuck
Booty.
with him on Guy Biggie's career. You know what I'm saying? And but it was like I felt like this is when Puff, I'll put it like this. If I didn't get I'll take another bitch as long as I get 10 crack commandments. Or
Yeah,
I'll take
yeah,
take I love more money, more problems, but I'll take more money, more problems to get niggas bleed. Or I got
yeah,
a story to tell. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? So, and I think sometimes like Puff, all that and we can talk about that for a quick second. I know we getting that time, but with Puff, all of the shit that's going down with him, we're not really. I don't know, man. Sometimes us as fans are just looking at it from the outside looking in. We don't pay attention to all of the details and stuff like that. Like the shit that happened between him and what's her name? Cassie. You know what I'm saying? Like that's fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like fucking somebody up, kicking him, doing all the shit that he was doing within the hallway. But for the stuff that he's being prosecuted over, it has zero to do with that. But people are taking that and saying, well, since he did that, he must have did this. You know what I'm saying? And you got no Diddy, you got all this shit happening. I mean, I'm still gonna stick with pause and stuff like that. I don't know if we can politically say the other phrase, but we could stick with pause and but we have it like just saying no Diddy is just crazy to me. It's like damn, like that nigga did like just because they find 1,000
Baby.
uh baby oil bottles and shit. Like, hey, look, freaky niggas do freaky things. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? Like look, I'm not in nobody's bedroom. You know what I'm saying? Except my own. You know what I'm saying? So look, if that's what Puffy owns, shit. Yeah, I don't know if I need 1,000 bottles of baby oil and
yeah,
shit, but
yeah.
shit, I mean, if they coming through the crib like that, shit, maybe you do need them. I don't, shit, I don't know. So
Yeah, with Puff, I don't really, man, because you know how I am now. I don't follow things too closely anymore.
mm,
So, like, a lot of things, I hear the commentary about Puff, like some, like, the thing about between him and Meek Mill, I'm just here for the jokes of it. Like, I like the
yeah,
little weird
I'm for
looks.
memes. Give me memes all day.
Like, I'm just here for the jokes, but, like, I don't, like, now the whooping Cassie's ass in the hotel room, that is definitely a crime. But, like, man, it's the other stuff that, like, hey, look, man, if he was doing stuff with baby oil, like, look, man, honestly, I don't care if he was tongue kissing Meek in the mouth. That's between him and me. Like, it ain't no crime.
It
I mean,
ain't.
you know,
Yeah, if you want to suck a dick, you can suck a dick. It's shit. If you want to suck a titty, you can suck a titty. Shit, make your
yeah,
own decision. Shit, fuck it.
yeah. So, like, I'm like, I ain't, you know, to me, like, man, Puff hasn't done anything so horrendous that, like, I ain't listening to Bad Boy no more. But you know, but to they each their own. If you take offense to, like, look, if you needed some baby oil to do something with your baby one day, and like you went to the store and they got there and they said we didn't have any, and you found out it was because Puff had bought it all and your baby developed a rash, so now you don't want to listen to Bad Boy anymore. Look, I get it. I get it. Baby rash, Puff bought
Puff came in here and brought up all the fucking olive oil and shit. It's like
it.
shit.
So
Like, nigga, why the
get
fuck
it.
you buy olive oil? I'm like, shit, nigga, maybe the nigga got a new freaking kick going on,
Yeah.
nigga. Like,
So if if that's why you mad about the baby oil, like, look, I get it. And you don't want to listen to Bad Boy no more. I get it. I mean,
Mhm.
I'm still gonna listen to Bad Boy though. Like, you know, it might be a couple Puff songs that still get into the playlist. Like, they're not gonna make, like, if they don't get in the playlist, it's not gonna be because Puff bought all the baby oil or he was rubbing on Meek's booty. Like, it just, well, it won't get in the playlist because it didn't make the cut. But
What about Kales?
I was trying not to touch that one.
Look, I'll jump into it first. The thing about Kales is crazy, man. It's like I said, you know what? I was like, I had a song. I was like, cause that nigga, literally, I was in some chat, and within that chat, I was saying how nigga ain't nobody like R. Kelly. I don't care how you swing it. That nigga is literally the greatest artist I've I've witnessed. And that's including Michael Jackson, that's including Prince, that's including James Brown, that's including
Chris Brown.
any I put it on Breezy, you know what I'm saying? But like cause Chris is dope as fuck, but you know, Chris still dealing with the shit with the motherfucking with the fuck like dog, Chris is what was gonna be our equivalent to what Michael Jackson, you know, from the standpoint, I look at Chris like you look
If,
at everything that happened. You say what?
if Chris Brown wasn't in a social media era where like everything he did, like even aside from the Rihanna stuff, even post Rihanna, like it just seems like he's toxic as hell and dealing with women. So
Mm-hmm.
that kind of like follows him.
Mm-hmm.
But if you just had Chris Brown focusing on, like, if the only focus was on him as an entertainer and not all the, and some of Chris Brown brings on himself when he gets into social media, like gets out there and on the internet and saying dumb shit or doing stupid stuff. So like he doesn't necessarily help it. But if he had grown up, like if Chris Brown had the era that like he if it was just about being an artist and the music, you're right. Like he probably would have we probably be putting him up there with like a Michael Jackson or R. Kelly and all that. But it's just the fact that like now we in that era where like people don't judge you on more than just like your music or your whatever. If you're act, they judge you more on what you're doing for entertainment. Like the personal stuff comes in, and some of it follows. Us as the public as you know holding that in high regard now, but some of it falls on the artist too, where like someone just don't know how to shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
So I think Chris Brown is one of those.
Listen, I'll say this about Chris, and this is one thing that I've always had something. Even though I think he's still, I mean, I still listen to his music. Just saw him in concert not that long ago. I felt like Chris hit that fork in the road when the whole Rihanna thing was happening, and when he hit that fork in the road, the nigga didn't go the direction. It's almost like R. Kelly, right? And
Yeah.
I'll say it for R. Kelly, and I'll say it for Chris. R. Kelly, this is why I got like this is my whole beef with R. Kelly in the point. I felt like when Chocolate Factory came out, that's like literally one of my favorite albums ever. And on that album, no, actually, no, I take that back. It is one of my favorite albums ever, but on the song that I said, you know what, that song is gonna be in my wedding. He has a song on 12 Play, and he breaks it down, and he says, "You need a man who's honest, understanding, satisfying, belonging, affectionate, needful, dedicated," and it spells husband.
Oh, kills.
And I was like, bars, nigga. but I was like, that song is gonna be I think it's girl you need. Let's see. I could because I ain't the singer and shit, but girl, I'll be right there when you need me. Call me. All you have to do is just call and I'll be there for you. Yeah.
Was that
That
the
was
first or the second
yeah,
12 play?
the first play.
I know what you talk. It might be Call Me.
Yeah, but I think it's like number 7 and number 8. But if you go back and listen to that, because niggas say, "Oh, I look, I love the 12 Play album. I think I consider it a classic album." But I mean, a nigga got a song on there called "Girl I Like to Crouch on You."
Yep.
I think that's number 5 and number 6.
Number 6.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I was like, ugh, you know what I'm saying, nigga? Like, what was I think we was what 12th grade? 11, no, that might have been 10th grade. 10th grade, 11, 93 or 94. But all that being said, I feel like R. Kelly after the first court case and all that shit, I was like, okay, cool. He made Chocolate Factory. And this is dog, my thought process kind of aligns to the Boondocks episode. You know what I'm saying? It's like, like take his camera away from him, have him stop doing, like Huey was on some shit. But at the same time, I felt like that was his room to grow. So even if you look at the timeline after that, right? And this is what I'm leading to the Chris Brown shit. But you look at the timeline after Chocolate Factory. After Chocolate Factory, he had the double album. It was a church album and a gospel album.
Happy people.
Yeah, happy people / something. Happy People was the lead single off of it. But I was like, okay, he's growing up. And then he dropped TP3 after that. I was like, all right, okay, Trapped in the Closets, because they had like 5 of the Trapped in the Closets on there. But it was creative, you know what I'm saying? It was fun. You know what I'm saying? But like, and I still own Trapped in the Closets 1 through 22 on DVD somewhere. I saw that shit like the other day. I was going through my shit. But when that nigga, and don't get me wrong, shit, I'm 47. That nigga's 43 at the time. That nigga had a song, and this is when I was kind of done with him. He had a song called "I'm a Flirt." I was like, all right, nigga, damn, like leave that shit alone. Like just write for these niggas and like you backslide and you starting to head back down that crazy path. You know what I'm saying, at the time. And I like, and don't get me wrong, he had some songs that I like after that. But that was probably like the TP3 was the last album that I remember directly buying from him or whatever. So, but then to Chris Brown. When Chris Brown, the whole Rihanna shit happened, like that nigga had the song. Goodness, before the shit happened, he had the double mint commercial.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Which was a bop. Like they ended up using it for The Office and everything, which is even dope as fuck too. But when the Rihanna shit happened, after that, the nigga came out with Transform You with Lil Wayne. And I was like, this shit is terrible. Like, you going this way, nigga. Like, fuck Lil Wayne. Like, nigga, go this way. Like, and that's where I kind of like, and don't get me wrong, I fucked with the Fame album. But like I felt like he was starting to, I don't know, he was ladies howling. I don't know if you hear it or not, but
she's in heat.
Huh?
She's in heat. You gonna go get her a little
siren? Nigga, she ain't in heat, nigga. She's just being extra because of siren going by. But all that man said, when he did Transform You, I was like, all right, this go be his downslide. But then he started coming back up and started still doing shit and was killing it, but he literally chose the Bobby Brown route instead of like the more accepted route within culture.
Yeah.
So that nigga still, like, I was looking at an article yesterday and it was a Johannesburg article and it was saying how, because he's there today, and they was talking about like people shouldn't go to his show because of his past abusive relationships. I'm like, God damn, like this nigga's still catching flack from that shit from like years ago and shit. Like, damn.
Yeah. I feel like the Rihanna thing to me, like if he was still like whooping on chicks like that, then yeah, we bring it up. But like I think, if he did whatever he had should have done, like if he got counseling, whatever he needed to do, like you can't keep coming back to hold people, like especially if they grow from it in that way. Like, and I don't follow Chris Brown too closely. I know there's some toxic things he appears to do, but he also appears to be with toxic women. Like, but I don't hear about Chris Brown just whooping on women either.
Yeah.
Like, and if he ain't, now if you want to go into the y'all doing toxic things together, then that's a whole nother thing. Like,
they were saying like them two together and they were saying that they said there's reports that she was the reason why it triggered off. It's just kind of like he went off on her after him being hit. But like I said, I mean,
But like, yeah, like I said, it appears if he's not beating on women, at least he's learned that part of it. Now the other stuff, I don't really know. Like whatever he's, like if he's, I don't know, like whatever toxic. Because of course, I'm not a toxic guy.
Mm.
But whatever toxic people do in their relationships, then if he's doing that, then I don't know about that. But I don't see no chicks walking out with black eyes, and I get abuse can be mental as well. But like, I see that's the thing. I mean, I'm not the best person to like comment on like personal lives of celebrities because I rarely pay attention to them. So I don't know Chris. I just see Chris Brown do things, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of funny. And I don't know if I should be laughing or not. But
I like this little interview that his little interview. I like this interview that he did with what's that dude? He got like the skin condition. I can't think of his name. I don't want to say like a fucked up face or anything like that, but he's a comedian. But Chris Brown did an interview with him like a few months ago, and that shit was pretty funny. I can't think of his name. Yeah,
Marco, yeah,
Marco
yeah,
Polo. Yeah. He
yeah,
did an interview with him. That shit was funny as hell.
yeah. I saw a clip where he was like, Marco was like, said, "Some of my sister want to date you or say hi to you." He was like, "She looked just like me." Chris Brown saw his face. Like, he's like, "Damn." Like, uh, yeah, so I don't know, man. I'll be.
So let me ask you this question. So we had talked about so we kind of in here, and I want to give I'm gonna lend the floor to you. We had talked about the 2 minutes appreciation, and since we kind of in the Chris Brown realm, it's not necessarily him, but can you give 2 minutes to Rihanna?
Rihanna, sure. I mean, if I got to, um, and
You
Rihanna.
give her 30 seconds. You give her a minute. You give her 2 minutes. You give her five if you want.
If you forcing me to talk about Rihanna, how great she is, I can do
I
that.
don't want to twist your arm.
Mom, Rihanna's like, man, Nia Long is, up here. She's the Hall of Fame. She's the one. Like it begins with Nia Long. Rihanna though is like, is a little bit younger. I think I don't even know if Rihanna's 40 yet, but Rihanna, she's beautiful. Man, she seemed to have like a good little personality on her, and she's rich. Like Oprah used to be my one for money. Like
Okay.
I try to
Now
get
it's
Oprah.
Rihanna. Oh, you got Fenty. You got all that shit. That's in there.
Yeah, but see, this was before. But Oprah, was a billionaire, and yeah, I mean, I'm not strongly attracted to Oprah, but I'm strongly attracted to her money. Like with Rihanna is different. I'm strongly attracted to Rihanna and the money.
Mm.
ASAP kind of, I, you know, the misstep with ASAP, two missteps. Um, but like, Rihanna's just man, she's just beautiful, man. Got like I don't want to like go too inappropriate with her, but she got a good little personality. She got like the clothing line now. Makes decent music. Makes good enough music that I'll listen to it. Like I saw her on I think one of them talk shows with Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon and was doing the like drinking out the bar. I'm like, oh man, look at my baby. Like she like to get it in a little bit with the liquor, and she look like she can hold her liquor. Like
You got to call over, man.
yeah, I mean I would. I'm thinking about shooting up in the DMs, but I know she with ASAP right now, and I don't want to. I mean, I don't really care about disrespecting ASAP.
Hmm.
Uh,
You
but
gonna shoot up her club?
no, nah.
Yo. I mean, if you
I
got
mean,
her pregnant, then I mean,
I'm gonna say
now you
child.
now you got her forever. Nah,
Yeah,
nigga, she gonna give
oh,
you child support.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like I get child support from her, so that might be a possibility. But like Rihanna, just like you know the the man, there ain't a whole lot. Like I mean, I feel like I feel like kind of similar to me alone, man. I really shouldn't have to like really explain this to like a straight man.
Hmm.
Uh,
So is Nia over Rihanna?
yeah, man, because Nia's the one. Like I can't like
Is that vintage vagina? Is that
yeah, that's vintage, man. I can't turn my back on Nia. She was the first one. She was the first one I love.
hey, look, you got to be truthful to the
Yeah, I
ones
gotta
that you
be
love.
true. I can't. I'm not Emadoka or whatever his name is. Like
Hmm. He
I
fucked up. He fucked up. Like,
Yeah, like
he had her.
never Nia. Like I might hit Nia up like, hey, though, baby, she rich though.
Mm-hmm.
We can maybe get like about 10 million from her. I can
You
come
could do a
back,
TV show with her.
huh? Yeah,
You could do a TV show with her.
yeah. Like
Yeah,
I'll get you
she'll
some
love you.
Fendi underwear,
She'll love
like
you.
free
But
Fenty.
over Rihanna, I think Rihanna got more money though.
She do. So that's why I'm like, man. But
Decisions.
I know, man. If part of me said I gotta be loyal to Nia though, man. Like I gotta,
Nia, when I see her,
yeah, man. But Rihanna though, man. Like if Amy Doka, whatever his name is, man. If he had told me that like he fucked it up with Nia and he was with Rihanna, I'd be like, all right, man. I get it. I get it.
Mhm.
Look, Nia, come on, bro. I'll take slightly sloppy seconds.
Rihanna or Eve.
Eve,
Yeah, Rihanna or Eve. Yeah,
huh?
yeah, Rihanna or Eve.
Like as a serious question?
it's not. It's not. It's not. That's not a.
No.
They're not
Who
equal.
who are you taking?
I'm still taking Rihanna.
I don't. I don't know that. I don't know that's like saying if I were to start a basketball team
Mm-hmm.
and do I want to take LeBron James, who is Rihanna, or do I want to take Kyle Korver to start my franchise with?
Yeah.
And Eve is
I mean,
quality.
at least you got quality shooting.
Yeah, you got quality shooting, but like, I mean, you
You got
giving
to
up.
take the Creighton great sometimes, man. You got
Yeah,
to let Kyle pop off.
you gonna take quality shooting over just a great overall, like one of the best of all time overall games?
Okay, so Eva Missy. We go back to the Ghostface, the Supreme Clientele. I think that was the comparison that he did. Eva Missy.
Even Messi. Which Missy?
You said
I
which
ain't
Missy?
gonna lie, man. I'm a big guy, so I like a big girl. Give
Mm-hmm.
me Missy.
Okay, you gonna take me? Okay, who else? He said, I forgot who he compared Bahamadia against.
It might be whoever. But I gotta see. I got
what about Remy or the boxing chick that Papoose dealing with right now?
I'm going with Remy, dog. I've seen a couple like that. I guess
Remy
she missed.
fine, yo.
Yeah, Remy,
He
like
wilding talking about that nigga like to have his legs behind his head and shit and getting his ass ate out. That's crazy.
Remy looked like she would put a nigga's legs behind their heads too. And at least I know Remy though, man. Like,
This is what we used to do in prison.
right.
Both of them and shit. Like, damn.
Hey, I know Remy, man. Hey, I know if anything pop off, Remy got me. I ain't gotta do nothing.
Yeah.
Remy gonna fight.
That boxing chick, well, she looked like she could
Hey,
throw hands.
I think you might have been the one that said to me, said like, "Hey, Papoose clearly has a type." Like,
Yeah, it was one meme that said Papoose pick chicks that'll go downstairs and check and see what see what that sound was.
but now Remy ain't bad looking. Like, I've never paid attention to the boxing chick for real, but like, I know because she's from Flint, right? Is she
Yep.
from Flint? Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like,
she's from Michigan. Yep. Mm-hmm.
but then like I've over this past week with the everything that's popped up, I'm like, all right, nah, Papoose, I'll take Remy. Like, yeah, like Remy, yeah, Remy just Remy,
Remy, Remy,
Remy,
I saw Remy and I think it was like Fab. He had some little hold down like some horse shit that I don't know, just some random shit New York niggas be doing apparently. But I'm like, damn, she's still fine, you know.
yeah, she thick. Like Remy, like yeah. So, well, who you? I guess you got Remy or Eve. So somehow we
I'm
put
taking
Eve.
Remy. Yeah, I'm taking Remy. But I'll say this: I remember seeing Eve. I don't know, remember that little video of her and Stevie J. It was like they had like a little porn clip like back in the day. And
Yeah,
I was like, damn, Eve nasty. I was like,
yeah, yeah. She is nasty. Funny thing about that is like that's like part of me watching stuff.
I like nasty. To keep it, do it, Eve. Yeah, do
Yeah,
some shit.
like yeah. So we gonna go. Yeah, if I because I
Can't
have
be timid. Can't be timid in the bedroom.
yeah. So look, Eve is definitely that. Like if you were to say Eve or MC Light, I'm gonna go with Eve.
MC Light or Queen Latifah.
Queen Latifah. Hey, cause Queen Latifah got some meat on her, man. Like I ain't like, you know, yeah.
What about SWV or Escape?
Ooh. Wow, the mic didn't pick that. Whoo, SWV, man. Cause you got Tiny like that. I mean, SWV.
But you got Coco though. It's like I like Lily though. Lily was like I was like, no, Lily.
I can't remember the other one's name, but she wasn't too bad. I think out of Escape, you got what? Dang, does Candy override the other three? And like, does Candy?
Are you talking overall?
Yeah, this is Candy enough to make you say, "All right, I got time." Because I just saw Tiny in some clip of Ti, and I was like, "Ugh."
Yeah, I don't want no smoke with Ti, man. Like, but nah, it's got to be SWV. I'm taking them. Woo, we had some women. Let's see. Shit. I was trying to think of like somewhere else earlier. I don't remember 3LW or I don't know 702 and shit. I don't know.
I'm just gonna go 3LW because we saw Notori Nothing and Power with the booties out.
Yeah, she had the titties out in that one. Yeah,
What
that was
about
kind of weird too. Why she throwing? Why was she showing? Like, why was she jacking off? Or what was 50 Son name? When she's in the back of the limo?
Wait, was it Sean?
Yeah, it was Sean. It was Sean. Yeah, she was jacking off the Sean. Sean driving the limo and shit, and she was in the back getting it off.
I just said somebody to you. Who was it? Oh, Faith or Mary J.
Smashing the music.
Smash.
Faith.
The way you just objectifying women right now is crazy.
Now look at it like this, right?
Me objectifying.
Mary J. Like if you got like a little sexy playlist.
Yeah.
Mary J ain't got one song on there that you fucking to.
Nah, she don't.
I can't I can't fuck to you can love me, I can't love you, I can't love you better than she can. Like, nah, nigga, I can't. Like, I feel like Mary J would come around me, and Mary J is like the sister or the aunt that I don't know, just keep picking the wrong dudes or something. I don't know. Like Faith seems like she might pick the wrong dudes, but I feel like Faith would get down with the get down though. I feel like even weird shit, but like her fucking with Stevie J and shit like that, even after Biggie, which is kind of weird. But
Faith or Kim?
Lil Kim?
Yeah.
Faith
or Lil Kim then?
In 96?
Yeah.
96, I'm taking Kim.
Faith or Lil Kim now.
Nigga, that ain't even a question, nigga. Like, it's definitely Faith, but shit. Look, Faith in motherfucking 2000. I remember it was an article. It might have been an article or an interview where Lil Kim talking about it just been, I think it was just reported, but Lil Kim had to get her stomach pumped, like with nut, like getting that shit out of her stomach and shit. Like back in the day. And I'm like, God damn, how many dicks you sucking to have to get your stomach pumped? But I still remember that shit. And I'm like, damn, nigga, you can't be sucking that many dicks. Like, you gotta let that shit go. If it's like if it's more than one, nigga, like what the fuck? So back then, Kim, because Kim was cute before she got all that shit done to her, man. And I just never I don't mind, you having to change some things, if you feel like, whether it's whether it's cosmetic, like say if you lose a lot of weight, like if you gotta adjust like and remove skin and stuff like that, then I mean I get that, but nigga, like her face is damn near Like her face
Yeah,
is crazy to me right now.
yeah.
So wait, so Kim or Foxy?
I was about to ask you that. I'm gonna go Foxy. What about you? Foxy
Back
just
then or now?
back then.
Back then, I'm taking. I probably. Shit. I probably take
Foxy.
Kim. I probably take Kim back then, but then
See, I
now I take Foxy.
see. I think Foxy had the better body. Foxy just, you know, that this
I'm
dark.
scared to take Foxy back then because you don't know how that bit like niggas trying to say Jay was fucking with her. Like and Jay was, like she had already came out and said that she
That she
wasn't,
was
but
18. I'm doing it on the assumption that she was 18.
yeah, she 18 then yeah. I mean, because you got to think
You're right.
we were around that age around then too, so it wasn't like that far off.
They said
But
she was maybe 15 or 16 when she did the
the
I
you talking
shot.
about the Lil Kim shit or the LL shit?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
that was 95, was it?
that was not 95,
Around 90.
maybe 96.
Yeah,
But when she recorded it was probably like when she was 16. So when the video and shit came out 7 because she didn't drop. When she dropped her album was it
that's what
97?
I'm trying to remember. Was it 95 or 96? I
Her
feel like
album
it was in November of a year, but I don't know if it was 95 or 96.
it wasn't 95 because everything that dropped 95 I remember specifically
97.
because
I probably graduated.
good. Let's say you got Goody Mob, you had Liquid Swords. Those are
And
all like
96,
October, November and shit.
yeah.
So and then 96.
He was 96, November 19th.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
for
I
saying
think Muddy
96.
Waters came out in 96.
You said what came out in 96?
Muddy Waters, Redman's Muddy Waters
Yeah.
came out. Yeah, Redman and Mob
Wait,
Deep.
was
How
that
long?
96 or 97?
96.
Okay. I felt like it was
96.
97.
Mob Deep. So that November was Foxy, Mob Deep, and Redman. And I remember Redman because I was commuting to Grand Valley my first semester of my sophomore year, and I
Machiavelli
remember
came out in November of
uh,
96. Did Machiavelli come out November 4th of 96?
yeah, November 5th.
Okay. I knew it was
Yep.
around the summer. And
Dogfather was
the Dogfather came out. You said what?
Dogfather November 12th.
Yeah, man. I remember that. I remember that shit. I remember there was one song on there. I think it's called Blueberry and shit. That was the one song I was like, okay, this is dope. Then after that, I think it was the intro too that was dope too. But other than that, nah, nigga, I wasn't fucking with that album at all. Like, I remember
Some,
buying that shit at warehouse. Motherfucking what was
yeah.
that shit? Might have been $15.99, nigga. Like this shit was terrible.
Somebody tried to get me to buy it off of them. I'm like, nah, homie, I can't correct your mistake for you.
I took that was when not warehouse but Tower Records. That's why I don't fuck with them niggas on that shit. And we could talk about that on the next pod. But I remember like niggas be talking about like um CD costs and stuff like that. Nigga, like these niggas is raping us on CD costs like back then. Nigga, I remember going to Believe in Music. Nigga, I remember buying CDs for like $16.99 the day that
Yep.
they came out. I remember buying American KKK's Most Wanted Spice One for $18.01. And I remember buying the Red Man because I think they came out around the same week or whatever. But
Okay.
I bought the Red Man Dares the Dark Side for $16.99. You know what I'm saying? And and nigga, like, if I get that shit from motherfucking Napster or whatever, then fuck it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I was still buying CDs. I think we came up in a time that made it like we was able to listen to it earlier and then decide if we wanted to buy it or not, which
Yeah.
made it dope in itself. So like I was able to listen to the Chronic 2001 or Volume 3
Right.
uh, from Napster and then being able to go ahead and buy it when the album came out too. You know what I'm saying? Because honestly, we got kind of hit. And they say, and this is where like Nas and all that shit, and it kind of reverted back to the original conversation. Like when they said Nostradamus got hit with bootlegging, it was like Volume 3 got hit with bootlegging. You know what I'm saying? It was like other albums that got hit with bootlegging, but they still came out and was able to be successful because we had what was the shit what was it? the the lost tapes. So and it was saying how, I mean, because you look at what Nostradamus was supposed to be, you had like a whole no, not necessarily Nostradamus, but I would say I am. It's that I am got hit with heavy bootlegging, but you know I am I thought was still a decent album, but I thought Nostradamus
Nostradamus.
just that shit was terrible.
Yeah.
Because
Family and Project Windows off that joint.
mm-hmm,
Family just Prodigy. Man, it was probably like sometime last year. I finally listened to Family past Prodigy's
mm-hmm.
first verse. I was like, oh shit, this record overall wasn't bad. For
Mm-hmm.
years, I was listening to Prodigy's verse. But yeah, Nostradamus was horrible.
I remember listening to Nostradamus, and I remember thinking, "Damn, not even Primo can save this." Like, cause like Nas will have a Primo track on every album,
Yeah,
and that Primo track would be where the lyrics stood out. Like like it was a perfect palette for Nas's flow.
yeah,
And that was the one time I listened to Nas and was like, "Damn, like this ain't even hidden over a Primo beat." It wasn't even like it just like the beat was there, but it just the lyrics, it didn't the lyrics weren't focused enough for me. Like you listen to it's certain songs that you can listen to Nas and like I said, you go back and forth. What's the song that he had on or the album with I Am? He had to join You Won't See Me Tonight with Aaliyah. You know what I'm saying? I thought the song was terrible. You know what I'm saying? But then I hear other songs like New York State of Mind Part Two. And I'm like, okay, this nigga's still sweet. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? Or I hear like Nas is like, I'm like, okay, this nigga's still sweet. And like I said, Undying Love is literally my favorite Nas
yeah,
story that I've ever heard from him. You know what I'm saying? I was on that album.
yeah.
So when you see that it's still there, you still fuck with him. But I didn't see none of that there with
Nostradamus?
I yeah, Nostradamus. Yeah.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Nothing. Not even Dr. Mock Boots.
Yep. Yeah. And I try and that's the thing, like sometimes as fans you want to like it as
Yeah,
much as you can just because that's who you and this isn't a Nas hating, chat. It's just sometimes your favorite artists don't give you what you want to hear from them. I'll say that happens from Jay. That
yeah.
happened with Common for me. It
Temptation,
happened with Outkast. Hell, Outkast, the dopest album cover them niggas got is probably their worst album.
Franconia.
Yeah, it's like that's the dopest album cover. Like I got shirts with the Stake on Your cover and all that stuff. Dopest cover I've seen in their weakest album.
Yeah. You know what the weakest song is from like you know, artists that we consider the greatest of
Mm-hmm.
all time. I know we got wrap up soon, but one, artists that we probably making in a top 5 or top 10. The worst song ever among those type of artists,
What's that?
Temptations by Tupac.
I hate Temptations.
I hate Temptations. Yo,
So
Mo.
come on. As soon as it come on, I'm like, oh God, here we go.
I feel like that song drops probably at least a half mic, if not a full mic, off of Me Against the World for me. I hate
hmm
that song so much.
Yeah,
I,
that song is a terrible. Like as soon as it come on, and
Nas,
the video is cool too. Like if you go back and watch the video is actually cool with all of the features, and I didn't realize the whole backstory behind all of the features in the video. But
yeah,
I was watching the video and I'm like, damn, like this is cool. Whatever. Because I was watching a interview with what's the comedian from New Jersey. Nigga got big lips and shit. Pause. What's the nigga name? Shit. He had How to Be a Player.
oh, Bill Bellamy.
Yeah, Bill Bellamy and shit. And he
Oh,
was,
he got
yeah,
he got
huh?
big lips. I never noticed he had big lips. But go ahead,
Oh,
go ahead. Go
that
ahead.
nigga,
That's fine. You noticed. Go ahead.
it's cool that I noticed this
Yeah,
shit.
yeah,
But he was talking about like kind of the backstory, how like when Pac, he was locked up and he was asking everybody to jump in this video for him because he couldn't be in the video and shit. And I went back and watched it because you had Jada Pinkett, him,
no,
Trent,
not Salt.
Coolio, huh?
Salt from Salt and Pepper.
Yeah, so I was in there too. Yeah, but I'm talking about Jada in there.
Yeah.
It was a lot of people in that video. Wait, hold on. Was Salt or Pepper? I thought Pepper.
I thought it was Salt, the light skinned one. I thought she
Salt.
was in the bed.
Yeah, Salt was in it. Yeah, yeah.
You know, Will Smith was in there. In the Jada scene, he was there in the corner crying.
that, oh,
That's where it all began.
that's where it started.
A lifetime of custom.
Hell no. Well, cool. Well, we'll jump off. We got some more topics. One thing I do want to jump on, and then we can allude to this on the next podcast, is that want to talk about side nigga songs, and we've been talking about this. We was gonna do it last pod. We gonna do it this pod. We gonna do it on the next one. We ran over a little bit, but at the same time, that's gonna be one of the main topics, and then we gonna talk about everything else. But Ed, you got anything else you want to drop on him?
Of all time.
You say what?
I'm gonna be giving one of the greatest side nigga songs of all time.
Okay, no doubt. Well, we'll hold it for the next pod, and then we'll go from there. Thank you
Okay.
all. Appreciate it. Glad for y'all being able to listen. Ed, thank you for jumping in. I appreciate you, and we'll go from there.
All right, dog. Holla at you.
Yep. Peace.